welcome to the G-Spot Chronicles. On this podcast, we focus on alternative relationship styles, kinks, fetishes, as they relate to the Black community and all people of color. Warning, the G-Spot Chronicles contains adult content and adult language. So please remove all children from the room. And if you are not in a private setting, meaning if your ass is at work or church or around some people you don't want to know that you on some freaky shit, please wear headphones. So sit back and enjoy the show. And welcome to the G-Spot Chronicles. On today's episode, we're going to kind of go over some poly terms. I know the lingo sometimes confuses people, and as people come into the community, they don't really know what the terms are, especially when they're joining like different Facebook groups and stuff like that, and they're seeing terms. So today is going to be informational discussion around these terms. So we got M.
Hey.
And Aliska.
Hey.
And the article that we're reading is from morethan2.com. Morethan2.com. And everybody's going off at the same time. That's what's okay.
It's my birth control alarm.
This is so on morethan2.com. It's learning the lingo, glossary of poly terms, and Aliska is gonna. And I think more as she reads off the terms and the definitions, discussion will kind of arise around that. So I'm gonna hand it over.
All right. So, poly terms. Let's start off with abundant love. The abundant love. The belief or philosophy that it is possible to love more than one person at the same time. That's solid.
I mean,
That's pretty essential.
like I said, growing up, poly, I really didn't know the concept of you only got to love one person. So by the time I learned that that's kind of what the majority of America kind of believed, I'd already kind of grew up learning how to love more than one person and understanding that that's how love worked. So when I heard like one man, one woman, I was so confused. Like I even at my age now, it's still hard to comprehend that.
That's so funny. That is so funny. What about you, Em?
Like you grew up a monogamous person, like you're very new to this lifestyle and what it is. Like, how much does the belief of only loving one person like still conflict with you on the thought of loving more than one person?
I don't think necessarily it conflicts with me anymore because, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it's the same, like, I love my dad, I love my sister, you know, I love my cousins, like, I love multiple people, but it's just all without a sexual component. And even that is still, when people hear that, they're still like, but that's different, it's not the same. Like, no, it literally is the same. Like, you love all of these other people. You don't just love one of them, you love them all. So
right. Or like when people will say like, oh no, loving your boyfriend is different than loving your mother. And it's like, it is, but it's like you have a mother and a father, so it's like you're not gonna love one because you can only love one. So I agree with y'all.
It's just the concept of like, I think the thing that fucks with people is the fact of like, no, you just say you love these people just so you can have sex with them outside of, your relationship or whatever. So it just makes it seem like a cover up almost that people think that
Yeah.
poly people use. Like, oh no, I love this person. But like people are like, no, do you really love them? Or are you just like having sex with them outside your relationship just to say it's love?
Now,
Yeah.
I've had that in conversations, and I think what fucks people up is when I go, I don't have to lie and say I love somebody if I just want to fuck them. Like, that's not the card in polyamory that you're allowed to be with other people because you have fell in love with them. Like, you can have purely just a sexual partner and not love them. You know what I mean? Like,
But even that's a conflict.
yeah, I mean, but what I'm saying is when people say that the word love is used as an excuse in poly to have sex with other people, I have to let them know, like, no, and in a lot of polyamorous relationships, you can just have a sexual partner. You don't have to be like, oh, I need to be with this person because I love them too.
Yeah.
You could just be like, oh, I like them, they cool. I like fucking them, and that just be what
Yeah.
it is. Like, you don't need an excuse. That's all I'm trying.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a need to like
Yeah.
have to have an excuse.
And as somebody who is new to the poly community, it and like now that I'm more like accustomed to it and I'm aware of like how it operates and how people deal with each other in it, dealing or like so like for example, me and D have a joint Tinder profile where I run it and I pretty much just like find people for just me or people that we both want to talk to, and then he does the same on his. And we had run into this one person who we were asking them like, oh, are you monogamous, or like how do you operate? And she replied with, for the cleanliness, I choose to be monogamous.
For the cleanliness.
And we were both like, bitch, what? Like, are you calling us dirty?
She was.
Like, she was straight up calling us dirty. And that just made me realize, like, how twisted people's, like, most monogamous people's views are of polyamory, because they think that because we're fucking with other people, we're not safe, or like that we're
Yeah.
not, yeah, or that we're just like fucking whatever, like it's just crazy to me. Like, I had another person telling me like, oh, so you just cheat on your boyfriend all the time.
But that's monogamous people's
I'm
problem.
like,
They
God
paint being
damn.
poly as being promiscuous.
Yeah, and it's like, it's funny because the other day, for the first time ever, I was leaving the gym and there's this guy sitting outside and he was like, oh, damn, you sexy. And I was like, okay, thanks. Like, I kept walking. But then he asked me like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? And I was like, well, yes, but... And then I hit him with the, I'm in an open relationship. And he was pretty like, he was pretty like...
Receptive.
Yeah, yeah, receptive. Thank you for that, Em. He was pretty receptive to it, and he wasn't like, oh, that's weird, blah, 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 or, oh, I'm not fucking with that. He was just like, oh, that's cool, like, that's what's up. And then we, like, added each other on Snapchat, and we just, like, went about it. But it's nice, like, I've never told anybody up front, because I'm like, damn, maybe they're going to be like, ew. But then I'm like,
Why does it
why
matter?
why not? Like, I might as well just go out and say it to them, because if they think that, I don't even want to talk to them, you know? So... That was cool. They had a nice reaction.
I mean, living openly poly can be hard. The level of judgment that people put on you,
Level of shade you get thrown at.
you're immoral, you're a bad person, you're dirty, you're promiscuous, all of these different things. I mean, like, even on my profiles, right, my dating profiles, I have a whole part explain, I'm poly, that's polyamorous, da da da. I will have women message me. I didn't swipe them, I didn't match with them, I didn't send them a message.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, you're a sick fucking da 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 da.
Really?
I mean, like,
Oh
I
my
get
God,
some
that's a little
just
extreme.
ridiculous shit.
But I think it's also like women are more assholes when it comes, like monogamous women, when they hear like, oh, a guy when they hear like a guy say that he's in an open relationship or he's poly or whatever, it's that automatic thought of, oh, he's a hoe, he can't fuck one person, he's for everybody, the nigga's passed around, yada yada yada. But like for guys, at least in my experience, they haven't been like, oh, you're a hoe, you're passed around. It's always been some like, oh, that's chill, what's up?
Well, this is the difference with that. With men, as soon as a woman says that, it's like, oh, I gotta end. Yeah, that's cool. You know what I mean? Like for a
Yeah.
man, it's a little different. They see it as
Like they can work around it, or
because
like
most men, even when you were monogamous, when you go, oh, I got a man, most men say what? What that nigga got to do with
what that
me?
got to do with me?
So when you say, oh, I'm poly or I'm in an open relationship, it really is some, oh, yeah, that's cool. Because literally they mean, oh, that's cool.
I know, but like
Like-
it's still like the fact of like I don't have to like, you know, like
Yeah, it's
I've had no
positively
one
received.
call me a fucking out my name about
One person did. Your friend?
Oh yeah, my friend. She was like, well, I couldn't just imagine like fucking my dad.
Oh, that's two. Yeah.
Oh, I told. Oh yeah, yeah. So my friend was like,
wait, what?
she was like, huh?
East Coast dude still like Snapchatting you and messaging you? Yeah, yeah. When you told him the way he reacted to that.
Yeah, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like even my friend Tiff, she was fuck. T.
Yeah.
They were. She was like, I couldn't imagine fucking my dad. Like, why are you painting him as my father? Like, that's disgusting. Like, just because you're into guys your age who ain't shit and don't do shit, I gotta be into guys that are my age and don't shit and are just not shit themselves. Nigga,
That's
like
such a
young
dumb thing to
niggas.
say.
I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's such a dumb thing to say.
But it's tragic. You know why? Because she's never gonna get a man. Because you know why? Because her breath always stinks. Ugly bitch. Okay, let me stop.
Oh,
That was a little bit of shade. That was a little bit of shade on that one.
whoa! I just got slapped in the face.
It's okay.
All right, we gonna go to the next term. Next term.
Oh, sorry. Next term. This one's a little kinky. No, it's not really. Adelphogamy. A specific porn.
No, go through the also.
Oh, okay. Adelphogamy, also fraternal polyandry or leviratric polyandry. A specific form of polyandry practiced historically and occasionally still practiced in some portions of Tibet and Nepal, in which a set of brothers is married to the same woman. Now, goddamn, if
Sounds like
you know,
shit.
I've met some families where all the brothers are fine. All the brothers. I'm like, I'll take them all. If I had, yeah, shit, I'm cool with that. Polyandry, let's get it.
I mean, I know my homegirl Michelle. Her and her husband and her boyfriend have been together 20 years. They have children together. Their house is like a matriarchy. Like she's the head of the house. You know what I mean? Like they don't have other partners. Like the husband and the boyfriend, they don't have other partners, and they're not bisexual, so they don't sleep with each other. It's just her, and she runs that shit. It's the reverse of how everybody sees regular triads, like, oh, one dude and two women.
That's
and he
pretty
running
lit.
Everything, right?
I would have one handyman and one
But
construction
I will
worker.
say this: on like Vice and it's some UK shit.
The BBC.
I seen one on there, but there's
Yeah.
another UK one. It starts with a B. I can't remember what it.
Broadcast TV.
No. It's not the BBC. It's a
No.
newer
It's
thing.
two of them. There's BBC and Broadcast
Oh.
TV that are UK channels.
But I've started seeing a lot of triads with two men and one woman,
Yeah.
which that's always been around, but I don't think it's ever been showed in media like it is now.
Because it's not something that's looked at as so. well, from what I see, it's not something looked at as so negative. Like, okay, it's a girl with two dudes, like whatever. Like the most likely they're not bisexual and they just take turns sleeping with each other. But when it's a man with two women, it's like, oh, he's a player, he's a hoe. It's just all these
He's
negative
making
things.
them do that
Like
shit.
he's making them do this, but I mean, like, shit, that's just what it is.
Yeah, that's crazy. Next one.
Next one. Adult buffet. Colloquial, a specific type of group sex in which a group of consenting adults get together for the purpose of sex, and each person in the group is free to have sex with any of the other members in the group he or she chooses. Originated in the swinging community, uncommon outside it.
Yeah, that's.
That's kind of
Sounds like a
funny.
big ass orgy to me.
Yeah. You know, I'm
Non-swingers do as well.
not as much though. It's not as fun. I will say this: having group situation with people who haven't been in the swinger community isn't as fun as when you do it with swingers. Because with swingers, there is like a baseline etiquette and like rules. You know what I mean? Like you already know how the shit can go left. You already know what a lot of the boundaries are. So when somebody's like, "Yeah, I'm not cool with this. I'm not cool with that," it's like cool, and then you can run with that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you're having a group situation with people who are unfamiliar with the swinging community, it can get awkward because people don't know what to state as a do and a don't. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fumbling around. It's a lot of, oh, don't put that there. Don't do that. Wait a minute, what are you doing? And shit like that.
Wait a minute, what are you doing?
But you was like super grinning over there. I'm trying
Because
to.
I was thinking about when I fell earlier, it was just ridiculous.
Oh, that just was playing in your mind.
All right. Agamy.
Oh, wait a minute. Question. What is the maximum number of people you are comfortable with in a sexual situation?
Two.
You.
It
Shit.
depends if I have substance.
What do you mean substance?
Like if I'm under the influence of something,
Okay.
it just depends.
Non under the influence.
Two.
Heavily under the influence.
Nigga, like 50. I don't fucking know. Nigga, whatever I can get max out, that's just what's gonna happen.
Fucking Staples Center, boy.
Shit.
Sold out.
Everybody line up. Take a turn.
How about you?
I would say, oh God, probably a lot, cause I feel that's something I would want. That's something I'd want to try. Is like an
Like,
orgy.
what's a lot?
A lot to.
What's a lot to you?
If
'Cause
okay,
everybody
if
has-
I walked into a room, and I seen like,
just say 5.
if I had seen like 10 people, I'm like, okay. But if I had seen like 20 people, I'd be like, damn, that's a lot. Like 20 to me is a lot. I don't even have, my body count isn't even 20, so I would just be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, my body count is like much smaller than people think it is. I'm at 12 currently.
How are you counting that? 'Cause
Like
we-
penis in vagina is
Yeah.
how I'm counting that.
Penis and vagina is
See, that's
separate
that
and-
fake shit.
That's
But
not.
also there is maybe, I don't think there has been a guy that I had just given head and never had sex with.
So with that, he was over
Is
here
there
counting.
a guy that you have given head to? Like, is there one? And do you count him?
Hold on, let me think. Cuz that has to be rare. No, there has not. I've fucked every guy that I've had given head to, because when I'm in like a hookup setting, like I don't like to just give head and know I'm not gonna get shit back. So I like to be like, work smashing, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know, like the list of like
Oh,
like,
I take it back. The first guy had ever given head to, I only gave him head. We were in middle school and I wanted to try.
but I mean with that,
Do you
like,
count that person? In
No,
your
but
body
he
count?
also died. Rest in peace.
oh shit.
Yeah, but I don't count him. That doesn't necessarily
That's
like disqualify
disrespectful.
him.
Like, he died. You should definitely count him.
You're like now even more so.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he die in middle school?
No, he died in high school. He killed himself.
Oh,
Oh, that's
shit.
fucked up.
Yeah, sad.
I mean, the list of like intercourse, like dick and vagina, versus the list of like dick sucking I have is like intercourse is way smaller than just sucking dick.
Wow.
Yeah, I was a little hoe at job.
Interesting. When I was younger, I was just really curious on like, cause I was already watching porn in middle school, so I was like, okay, like I want to try that. So I hit my friend up and I'm like, hey, like, what if we did this? Like, I never did that before. Like, this is in like 7th grade, bro. I was like, and I tried it. It was cool. And then I left. I walked back home.
She said I walked back.
Because we live like 10 minutes away from each other. So it was like, it was chill.
So, wait a minute. 10 is doable, 20 is like, I don't know if I can do that.
No. I could do 20. I'm just saying I would walk into that room and be like, damn, 20?
So, sober, you only could do 2. Intoxicated,
I can do
Moda Center.
Moda Center.
Modus.
It's bigger than the Moda Center.
Staples Center?
Nigga, like Texas Mall, nigga.
Mall of America type.
I don't think so.
No, trust me. Like as soon as I like drink alcohol, it goes straight to my pussy. Like I'm not even joking. Like I instantly feel it in my pussy.
That's all
Like,
she was saying when we went out the other
I was
night.
so drunk. I was like, what the fuck? This is like, what is happening? It goes instantly straight to my pussy, and I don't know how to act. So it's just like, I could probably.
See, this is
do
what
some
make
numbers.
niggas question shit.
Right.
Because
Don't say that in front of no motherfucker.
I know
I'm glad you said that in front of mine.
you have gotten drunk and high. I will
thinks
knock
it's
your
something
ass smooth the fuck out, no more.
Wait, what?
So how the fuck is you doing the Staples Center?
But I mean, like, cause it's always like, nigga, listen here. I'm talking like Staples Center, like we're like everybody's getting like 2 minutes tops, nigga. I'm not talking on your level of
Who
like
the fuck would want to do that?
I'm just, you know, like if I'm trying to just get the numbers
Okay,
in here.
let me
get the
clarify.
numbers in here.
Let me clarify. When I'm talking about a group situation, I'm talking about like a full fuck with somebody. Like the
Like a
20, she's talking about like each guy is fully fucking her.
Okay.
So 20 people could run
See, she
10,
can
12
like,
hours.
That's a lot. But I'll try.
I'm not talking about 20 niggas.
I mean, but if
What?
if niggas.
Hold on, wait a minute. What was that?
I did.
She said 8.
8.
Yes.
I did 8.
I commemorate you for that.
Only reason I'm going to tell y'all this is because
Was it like a bukkake type thing?
I did a family reunion.
Wow.
Were you related to them?
No. So we went on this family vacation. And God, oh my God, if any of you niggas hear this, it was crazy. But me and my sister went on family vacation at a beach. We're not gonna mention the name. Every summer, and we was on the boardwalk. You know, like you said, half intoxicated. And we came across a family reunion, and they was on the balcony like, hey, hey, young ladies. And we went over there. So it can be done. You know, sucking a dick in a circle is very stimulating.
I mean, it's all eyes on me.
You know what? And that's the way I felt. I didn't feel like a slut or a whore. Now, the next day when I seen them all up on the boardwalk with their aunties and aunties and uncles and shit.
You're like, she.
Ran in. You know, you're meeting their mom and you don't even know. I
mean,
did
but
feel
so
a
while
certain
you were
kind of
doing
way.
it, did you have like that Tinashe song in your head, like all hands on deck, like just shit?
I can't
That's
say
what's
I
gonna be
had a
on my
Tinashe
mind.
song. I'm pretty sure I had some songs. And it was very, they really were caring kind of dudes. It wasn't no
Wow.
slut kind of action.
No, bitch.
It looked like they were looking for the
Fucking
what
whore.
you call it, the stimulation as much, the experience as much as I was. And I know some brothers might look at it as running a train. No, it was really, we chill with these dudes, we talked to these dudes, we had a good time.
And then they just started pulling their dick out one by one.
No, I did that.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't.
It was
like
very
this
mutual.
whole-
Very mutual.
Very mutual.
It wasn't like you was just happening, you
Like
just
you wasn't
smoking with
mutual
all
people.
them,
Right,
and then
like
all
I
of a
was-
sudden
right,
one of them
right.
pulls their dick out, and you're
Yeah.
like, "What are you
Yeah,
doing?"
the one clink you upside
And then
the head
another
in the
one
back,
pull their
yeah.
dick out, and you're like, "Oh, this is what
So
we're doing."
it was a very memorable experience. I don't remember much after that, but I remember
Oh.
just going around in this circle like,
Like a lollipop.
you know.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, me and my sister had a good time with it. It was more.
Your sister was there?
Yeah. Oh, we had a really good time with
Okay.
it. We were in our alter ego kind of sense.
Yeah.
Attorneys, brothers out. We don't know them. We don't have to see. And I've never seen them again. If I did, I didn't know it was them. They didn't know it was me. You know.
We don't know each other.
We don't know each other. So it really worked out. So yes, I don't know how does that fit in the poly terminology. I don't think I was poly then. But it definitely can
That's
be
just some
done.
shit you be doing.
Group thing.
Damn, man, when I get my paycheck, I'm buying ribs, man. That shit smell good.
You want some ribs?
I want some ribs.
I want some ribs.
And then after that, I want some surf and turf. And then after that, I want I want like a whole pot boiled with potatoes and sausage and crab
throw some
legs
crab- yeah.
and some
Yes.
shrimp with some Cajun seasoning.
Joe's Crab Shack go right over.
I know, I already been there.
Their Cajun seasoning, no fire.
I know, but sometimes that'd be too spicy for me. You know, I'm white.
Now,
I built up my tolerance though over time.
the next one.
The next one.
Another one.
Another one. Alternative polycon.
No, the one above.
Oh, agamy. My bad. We didn't go to that. Agamy. A state or condition of not engaging in marriage, or more generally, not engaging in marriage or reproduction. And then another definition is a sociological definition of or relating to a society with no recognized rules or prescriptions on marriage, or which does not recognize marriage at all. So is this like dating forever?
No. Like, you have tribes in the Amazon. They don't have a concept of marriage. They don't have a concept.
It's like group
of,
raising. It's like
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, each
Yeah, I've read
kid,
about that.
Every man in the tribe
puts
is
his
its
work.
father.
Yeah, that's pretty dope.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know who's semen. And then too, like in Amazon, you know, those tribes, they don't really have a concept of like genetics, DNA. You know what I mean? To go, oh, your sperm impregnated her. This child is your responsibility. They just all raise the kid. You know what I mean? That's like you got one mama and 20 daddies.
Damn.
That's a family unit like a motherfucker.
G-Unit.
But I mean, there are other societies and societies through history that have functioned like that. You know, marriage is not a concept that every fucking culture has or acknowledges. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for the most part, it's not super necessary.
I feel like that's just like some financial binding shit at this point.
Well, part of it too, especially in this country,
And taxes.
was to
Taxes.
hold people together. Because like marriage, I've been married twice. It doesn't really come into effect much until it's time to go, until this shit is no longer working and somebody wants to leave. Like, you can't just leave. You know, like, I'm from California. You have to file for legal separation. That's a minimum of 6 months. Then you start to divorce proceedings. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I ain't doing that shit again. But now, polycon.
Alternative polycon, or the acronym APC, A long running annual convention of polyamorous people and people interested in polyamory, organized by members of the Usenet news group, Alternative Polyamory, and featuring a series of workshops, lectures, and so forth. That's pretty cool. Do they do that out here?
Um, yeah, it was not this one, but there's always like poly meetings, poly hookups. I was going to a poly meetup for a while, like the first year I was here, which is cool because it's not like a hookup thing.
Yeah.
It's just people who are poly get together, they talk about relationship stuff, they talk about things they're going through. People share stories of different types of
Yeah.
relationships or situations that they've had. It's more of like a social gathering of really like-minded
Yeah.
people because when you're truly polyamory, you do feel kind of ostracized in the community, whatever
Yeah.
community you're in, especially in this country. So being just hanging out with a group of people who are poly and talking about those things without like the fear of judgment and stuff like that is very relaxing and comforting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like, cause D recently joined like some poly groups on
Yeah,
Facebook.
I shot him some.
I think I'm about to do that too because, like, the problem I've been having as far as like poly goes is that the guys that I am into, there are not many in a poly community. Like
Yeah.
black men is like there's not many, and not even black men, but just like the men that I like. There's just not many,
Well,
and and there are some, but like just having like a field app is like not enough.
I will say this, and this is kind of what I noticed, right? A lot of the black men who are poly are either in some hotep poly type situation.
Hotep.
Yeah, hotep. Like,
Oh shit.
no, hotep. Y'all don't
What's
know what a
hotep?
hotep is?
No.
Y'all know what a black Israelite is?
Yeah. Oh,
Or all them type cats? That's hotep type motherfuckers.
I'm still don't know.
All
what
they
you're
know
talking
is Egypt. That's the
about.
only
Oh.
African. And they always talk about, it's similar to like a real pro-black pan-African view, but it's really super misogynistic. It's really like
Yeah.
Yeah.
super controlling. They're more polygamist.
yeah. One of them told me I was an abomination for wearing pants. So
Yeah.
I don't really.
Oh, whoa.
Well, that's the Israelites, but a lot of the hotep poly dudes, it's more of one man, a whole bunch of women, right?
Yeah.
Not really like people have the equal opportunity to seek partners as they want to. And then the other population of black men have white partners. Like I'm in a couple of black, like POC poly groups, and I felt like going into a POC poly group, I would meet people of color who
What does
wanted to
POC
be people of color.
Oh.
I thought that I would meet people of color who wanted to be
With people of color. Yeah.
And what I found was a lot of the Facebook POC groups are people of color who all want white partners
Oh.
and just talk to other people of color, but not actually want to be in relationships.
So what's the point
So
of
are
that?
there white people in that group too?
No.
Oh.
But they are, because like I went to a poly POC meetup. Yeah, poly POC meetup at Peninsula, the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Every last person there, their partners were white.
But what's the point of that?
So
then?
white people ended up outnumbering the people of color who were in the group.
Oh my
I felt
god.
super fucking uncomfortable. People didn't understand why I felt uncomfortable. I'm like, I joined this group to be around and with and deal with people of color in
That are
this
poly,
community.
Yeah.
And now, again, I'm outnumbered by white people in this.
But what did they have to say about that?
Well, it's not like that. And then you got to remember, too, the Northwest, the interracial dating here ain't like interracial dating anywhere else. There is so much weird in the sunken place shit going on with interracial dating out here.
But I mean, you did say that this is the one place that you've been where more white women have more black children than black women have more black children.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Which I
That's
see on a
fucking
regular
crazy.
basis because like there's a lot of white ladies with black babies.
And so it's just different. Like, I never had an issue with interracial dating until I got here, and then the shit just felt so weird. I just stopped dating people who were not of color. And I mean, there's a couple women that I kind of connect with every once in a while, but then sometimes they say shit or do shit that makes me feel weird, and I just let that go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, man, white people would just be fucking ruining shit. It's annoying.
but there's a lot of, even if like you go on the app Meetup, there's a lot of poly meetup groups, and for the most part they're really good. Even if you're on like FetLife, there's poly munches. You know what I mean? So it may seem like a very small lifestyle to people until you start learning how to connect with other people. That's when you really start to see how large the community is.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like it's probably already super large, but there's people. I'm not gonna say like myself, for instance, that are like in the closet, but it's like I'm not gonna say I'm in the closet. It's just like there are certain people that I wouldn't like be like, oh yeah, I'm poly, right? Like there's just certain people that I wouldn't tell that to, but I feel like there's a whole bunch of people that are in the closet that are like, no, we're not.
I would say a good 30% of poly people will not identify as poly. I find that a lot of people have such
Because it's easier not to.
a negative, they just will not say the word. Ain't never really had a monogamous relationship in their life, but will not say, oh, I'm ethical non-monogamous, or I'm poly, or any of that.
Because it makes reality set in that. Oh yeah.
And a lot of times it just conflicts with how we were all raised. You know what I mean? Like,
But I mean, even that's a conflict. Like we sit here and have like fathers who have whole ass other families, while they still live with their whole ass other family. Like
Yeah.
I mean, my grandfather had 2 whole families.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like
My grandpa had 2. Well, he didn't have kids with the other person, but then my grandma found out, and she like showed up to the other girl's house, and he was actually there
she fucked that shit
in
up.
the living room, and so
Well, in the black community,
she kind of
even in
cut
the
that
Latin
shit off.
community, because see, like me racially, I'm split between.
Don't forget the Arab community. Like
Well,
they
that's
be like I'm really involved with that just because my mom is Muslim, so she knows a lot of Arabs and Muslim people and Somalian people, and therefore I'm friends with a lot of them. And so many of the guys have whole girlfriends here and then have another girlfriend back home.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
And
have
they're like, yeah,
children.
I'm just with this one right now, but I'm gonna marry that one. And shit like
But see,
that.
that's more like player shit. That's more like hiding shit. Like what I was saying, like in the Latin and black community, older generations, like grandma knew he had that other family.
She just
You know
didn't
what I
say
mean?
anything though.
It just was really, as long as you were taking care of this family and your responsibilities here don't get fucked off because you have another family, we don't talk about it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like my grandmother knew my grandfather had a whole nother family. And this is what was funny. And I've talked about this on the show before. My grandmother having another dude. And he was only around when my grandfather was in Louisiana with the other family. And it wasn't until we became like late teens when we started realizing, oh, grandma got a side nigga.
And what did she say? This was your uncle.
This
or
ain't no
something?
uncle.
No,
That's
it
what
was, she never even did that. He just that was CB. That just.
That
you know
was
what I
just
mean?
some guy that came around.
I
And
mean, we all knew him. He lived close by. it wasn't until we realized, like, yo, man, every time this nigga come over, we gotta go outside and play.
But I mean, from like a child,
Like,
from
Why
a
we gotta go
child's
out?
aspect of it though,
That's so funny.
like you're just like, oh, that's my uncle, because like my aunt did the same thing of like, and we were like fully grown teenagers at the time. She was like, oh, this is your uncle, blah 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 blah. You not slick because they went upstairs. Why is my uncle in your room too long? Why the door shut? Why you come out with some lingerie on? Then why the next morning I wake up and I see the lingerie on the floor in your room? That's not my uncle.
that is your uncle.
That's not. No, it's not.
Now, let me tell you something. In the hood,
In the hood.
there are terms that mean different things. We all know nephew, niece is usually terms between dolphins and niggas on the block.
Well, I
What's
mean,
up, Unc? You gonna run to the store for me, Unc? Yeah, I got you, nephew. I got you.
that's
nigga,
just a black person thing in general. Everybody has like a.
No, it's the way it's said. It's the way it's said. It's the way that D-boys say Unc to the crackhead, and the crackhead say nephew to the D-boy. Plus, we all know that there's just this underlying thing of this is your uncle such and such. We know what that term is. Nigga, that is not my daddy's sibling. That's not my mama's
But I
sibling.
mean, that's
I
where
don't-
that excuse
you know
of
what
like,
I'm
this is
saying?
my grandma's sister's uncle's nephew's like Grand Roach. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they just stop. Just stop saying uncle. Just be like, this is my friend, and that's it. We don't need to cover shit up.
Nigga, is that your friend or your friend?
Oh, I'd be like, friend.
All right, let's hit this next one.
Next is ambiguity.
Ambiguosity, ambiguosity,
Ambiguous.
Yeah.
Ambiguous, sweetie.
ambiguously.
It's really that. A partner with whom one's relationship is ambiguous or not clearly defined, often intentionally, as we are not primary partners or secondary partners or simply friends, but rather ambiguous sweeties.
Ambiguous sweeties.
This term was coined by, well, that doesn't matter. But, so this just pretty much sounds like friends with benefits to me, but for the poly community.
But see, okay, friends with benefits in a regular, monogamous, regular people shit aren't really friends.
Yeah.
True.
Like, they don't really just be hanging out and kicking it on a regular and sometimes sleep together. That's why
Yeah.
I don't like the term friends with benefits, because, nigga, we not friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, friends with benefits in the poly community is different to that note. Like, this is somebody you actually spend time with, actually go places and do shit with, have conversations with. Every once in a while, y'all smash. So, do I have any got any
I don't know. You don't know.
ambiguous sweeties?
I'm trying to find
You're
me some
asking me.
ambiguous sweeties.
You should know if you feel or not.
Yeah, I like that. I'm
I
looking
mean,
for
it don't necessarily
an
have to be
ambiguous
somebody
sweetie.
now. It could have been.
I know, so I'm saying, how do you? Okay, let me not pull that card.
And it doesn't have to be necessarily you guys have had sex. Because there's a lot of times where you have an intimate connection with somebody and you guys spend time together and there is this romantic feeling, but the line of having sex has never been crossed.
But it eventually will.
Not all the time.
But I.
Because I've definitely in my life have had non-sexual intimate relationships.
Elaborate on like. I don't know. When I hear the word intimate, I think of like wet macaroni.
Yeah, no. No, I mean intimacy is beyond just the sexual. Intimacy is somebody
That cheek one is the best.
that you have that romantic feeling for.
That won't give you none.
not won't give
Well,
you none.
Kia's had a problem with this in the past. We can.
Fast. It's still a present.
Why?
What?
What? I didn't say nothing.
It's called the emotional relationship.
But is it if you want to have sex with that person and that person doesn't want to,
You should leave them alone.
you should just drop their ass.
No, that's not right.
Well, I mean, you could be friends,
How many
but like
suckers you got
nothing
over
more than
there?
friends. Like, don't even entertain the fact of anything romantic because
No, because this is another benefit
It's
to
okay.
being poly. You can have a completely romantic, intimate relationship with somebody without having sex because the need to have sex does not have to be pressured onto that person.
I understand that. But what if the other person is like, and we'll get to it, blah blah blah, blah, playing with you, wasting your motherfucking time that you're not gonna get back.
Well, I mean, if your objective with this person is more of who they are and how you feel around them, sex doesn't even have to happen.
True.
You know what I mean? It'd be different. Like for monogamous people, that's where all that friend zone shit gets really fucking complicated and all the resentment comes in is because you are loving this person or having feelings for this person. They are where your sexual pressure is put. When you're poly, you can have that relationship and sex doesn't never have to happen because you have sexual partners elsewhere. That need is just being taken care of, and you're getting all these other needs from that person. You know what I'm saying?
So nigga, y'all just friends.
But it's romantic. Like, you could make out, you could kiss, you could romantically embrace, and you know what I mean? Hug, cuddle, all that shit, without needing it there to be sex. You know what I don't know. I've had
Yeah.
those relationships. They've been very fulfilling, especially when it's like I don't need to constantly think, is she ready to have sex with me? Because I don't really need to have sex with her. You know what I mean? Like, that's not really a necessity.
Yeah.
Next one.
Next one is asexual. One who has little or no desire for sex or sexuality. And then this is just commentary. Asexuality should not be confused with lack of interest in romantic relationships. Asexuals can do and form romantic relationships, though those relationships may include little or no sex.
That's where that shit comes in. The intimate, romantic, non-sexual relationship.
Yeah, I don't know if I could be with someone who's asexual.
Cow, get
Oh,
up.
hey!
No people food.
No, you know, my cat didn't even like people food or human food. Like, there was a couple, like, cheese, milk, you know, maybe some fruits here and there. But, like, for the most part, like, she just wanted her cat food and her tuna, and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, like, animals aren't supposed to eat cooked meat like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, my aunt, or no, not my aunt, my grandma used to give her cat raw liver.
yeah.
That's all he would.
Really good.
Yeah, it was like that cat was like pushing 22. It was still chilling. I don't even know. It might still be alive. I don't know. I'm gonna have to ask her.
Let's see. Going into the bees.
Rolling into the BDSM. See BDSM.
We can skip that.
Yeah. Okay. Bigamy. A relationship in which one person is married to two spouses, regardless of the sex of those spouses. Or two. In most Western countries, the crime of entering in one marriage while still legally married to another person. Marriage fraud.
Yeah.
Well, damn, that's very different than the first definition.
Well, no, because People go to jail in America all the time for bigamy.
Can't you go to jail for polygamy in some states? Like it's illegal to be polygamous?
It's bigamy.
Oh.
Like it's a double thing. So if you're a polygamist and you're legally marrying all of these wives, the crime you go to jail for is bigamy. Entering into a marriage contract while you're still legally bounded in a marriage contract with somebody else. You know what I mean?
I see. That's kind of funny. Bi-poly. Colloquial of or related to a person who is both bisexual and polyamorous. Oh, okay, that's a nice one. Bi-poly. Okay. I just don't like it when...
Nigga, if you say you pan, I'ma pour this goddamn water on you.
Hell no. No, no, no. That's actually where I was going with this, but not in that way. So, with all these new terms in society, like pansexual, demisexual, like whatever fucking sexuals there are, I don't like it when they start mixing like your sexual orientation or your like gender sexual orientate. No, oh god. You see, I'm fucking confusing myself trying to explain this. I don't like it when they mix like their gender identity.
So your sex, you're like.
And then their sexual preference into one term. Like that shit be confusing me. Like bi-poly, your sexuality is I'm bisexual, but then the way I operate in relationships is poly. So they're like, I feel like it's two different topics.
Basically, your how like your gender versus what you like. Oh, would a monogamous person identify? Like I don't know. It's
but see, okay, I feel like that term is a little different because a man and a woman could be both bi-poly.
Yeah, but I could be bi and not be poly.
Doesn't actually. No, I know. But it doesn't actually incorporate gender into it.
That was just an example, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like it. Like, can we just keep the bisexual, and then the poly? But, like, for this one, like, bi-poly, like, that's pretty simple. But I've seen ones where they be like, I am...
Unicorn X, like, alien.
I am hetero... I don't even know what the fuck somebody said the other day. I am, like... pan heterosexual. I'm like bitch, what the like that shit don't even be making sense to me.
Like somebody can be like, oh, I'm like, you know, heterosexual, non-binary. Like wait a minute.
So hold on.
Wait.
I have to break. It's like a math equation in my head.
It's like 2 + 2 is not equaling 4 right now. Like people.
You
just
don't know
like,
how to say what you are.
No, but people like.
No,
to be like.
I have a hard time understanding other people.
When someone can be like. I don't know, they just throw all these extra shit in here when they can just, like, there's, like, a simple term for it. They're like, I'm, like, heterosexual, like, demisexual, like, asexual, pansexual, like, non-binary, like, non-gender conforming. Like, people are so extra with it. Like, it's not that serious.
Describe yourself in PC language.
PC.
Politically correct language. All of those words you're talking about is PC language.
Bisexual woman. Actually, what was the term? Bi-poly? Whatever it's called. What she said the first time. I'm confused.
Yeah.
That. I like girls and guys. And I'm in a poly relationship. There you go. They be trying to confuse the fuck out of people.
Can you describe yourself in PC language?
Yes, I am bisexual. She, her pronouns.
Her pronouns, not they, them, or it, or. Someone asking you how do you identify, you just start making weird noises.
You start making clicking noises.
Was that your whole? PC
and
language?
poly. Yeah, that's pretty simple.
Wait, like so PC just like.
Politically correct.
I know. So, like, you know, I'm a bisexual woman who's poly. Is that what I said the first time? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. That's what you said.
I might wake up and be like pansexual.
Man.
I'm not sure.
I'm thinking of drinking some of that death juice, but last time I drank that, it was so harsh.
Yeah.
It was so much stronger than the previous time before that.
It's just the marinating.
Yeah, you have marinade.
God.
My title is, I don't know. It's
Oh, God. All right, let's hear yours. Let's hear
Hear
yours.
this extra ass shit.
Do you have to pull out your notepad? Did you write it all down?
no. I'm a heterosexual, poly, masculine, binary, cisgender male.
See, all that was
You
just.
see-
Wait.
I have
After,
to
wait, repeat
was
that
all
one more
gender.
time.
So my gender is stated with binary, one. Not non-binary, which is non-conform. I'm binary, cisgender, which means I was born
A male.
the
So,
same gender that I identify as.
okay.
So, binary, cisgendered, masculine male. Because I don't identify with the feminine or androgynous.
Yeah.
I'm binary, masculine male.
But that is.
But
just
why do you have to
the-
put the masculine in there?
Like, aren't you a man?
I mean, I personally don't, but this is the whole thing.
I like it how it sounds.
some poly groups I go to or have went to, like when they go around a circle and they introduce themselves, I don't want to feel like an idiot when everybody's like, "Oh, I'm blah 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 blah," and it gets to me and I'm like, "I'm Bobby." You know what I'm saying?
Is that a valid thing?
I'm Bobby and I'm straight.
And sword fighting
I
is
really,
off limits.
I sat down and I looked at, okay, because this is where a lot of people start feeling lost in all of this new shit, right?
Yeah.
They don't know how to identify themselves with all these new words and new classifications.
Because you're making it so
If
fucking
you,
complicated.
but this is the whole thing. If you sit down and you really go, okay, I am this and I am this and I identify with this and da, and now you have a title like everybody else has a title, you don't feel so like, oh, that shit is weird.
So basically, niggas gotta be like, I am a bisexual, poly-female, cisgender,
Oh, yeah.
Binary cisgender
Binary cisgender.
feminine
woman or female.
unicorn.
Well,
Fuck.
you can't say female anymore.
Female.
Why can't I say female?
Fuck. Right. The fuck, nigga. Ooh. Let me stop.
Yes, you by right law can say.
But that's what it
no,
is,
by right and
female
by
and
law, you
male.
can say whatever you want. I'm just talking about in the context of politically correctness. In the feminine zone,
Oh my god.
calling a woman a female is now
Then what the
derogatory.
fuck is she? Is she a fucking dinosaur, my nigga? Like, you're a female and he's a male and that's what it is.
Because
That shit gets me so
the
heated.
words are different.
So we're just supposed to. Yeah, okay.
So what can I call myself? A vagina having woman?
You can call yourself whatever you want to. Other people just can't call you shit other than what you tell them they can call
So
you.
I can't be like, I can't refer to T as, oh, she's a female or.
Because now, well, okay, look, in a binary sense, that like I'm 40. The binary sense that I grew up with, woman, female, and feminine were all attributed to the same being. Male, man, and masculine was attributed to the same being. Now,
You can be a masculine.
female.
Woman.
Well, I mean, there's always been masculine women, but I mean, like those traits were really, in those classifications were really split. It's divided as two things, right? So now, female has a very specific definition, woman and feminine.
And
Okay.
Now
femme.
these things are like so separated that, because I've had somebody tell me I'm non-binary, feminine leaning.
Feminine what, nigga?
Leaning. Like, they're non-binary. They don't identify as a man or a woman, but they lean to the
Oh,
feminine.
I see.
Okay, I understand that, but if we're just gonna go down to like what the fuck it is, male and female, I know that probably sounds real one-sided or whatever you want to call it, but like they're trying to make it so difficult. Like literally in the future, it's gonna be like it's gonna be a fucking crime to ask your child like what you want to eat for
Nigga,
dinner.
Mario from Saved by the Bell. You didn't see what just happened to him this week?
Yeah, I
happened?
did.
I watched the interview. I watched the interview, and he said he felt it was dangerous to hear a 3 or 4 year old say that they believe that they're a different gender than what they are.
It is.
And then begin to transition them from that point.
Yeah,
Because
like that's
because
yeah.
okay, my personal opinion.
I think
is, how
people
is a
took that
child
shit way
going
out of
to know?
context.
Like one of my coworkers, she was like, "My child is what the fuck my child. I tell my child is like, you know." And I kind of stand by that. Like, how are you gonna sit here and influence this little boy or girl to be like, "Oh no, you're a girl, even though you're a boy." Like, I don't know how you could just
I think
influence
people are
that.
afraid of it, right? So, like, say one of my sons came to me and was just like, "Yo, I'm really a woman. I feel like I'm a woman." Cool, Dad. I want to cut my penis off. Not until you're grown. You could wear a dress. You could do all of that. You can live as a woman, nigga. We'll go down to the courthouse, change your name to Shaniqua, whatever all of that. We're not doing no physical changes
Until you're grown. That's what I'm
until after
saying.
puberty
And
after you're
is
grown.
that
But-
what Mario was saying? That he
Yeah.
just thinks that they shouldn't make any like transitional.
He said he feels it's dangerous to make like permanent transitional changes to a child that young.
Because
Oh,
you
yeah, I
never know
agree.
if it could just be a phase of like, oh no, at this time I'm a boy, but I really enjoy playing with like fucking Barbie dolls. And the parents
Yeah,
gonna be
like,
like, well, I
You
think
do
he
have
might.
groups.
When my brothers were younger, like my mom would, if they wanted to, she would let them like paint their nails and like play with, like, so to speak, like
Yeah.
girl toys. Like she would let them, and then they just ended up like growing out of it and then doing their own thing, you know, like. But I could see why if a kid would start doing that and then just never stop.
Well, this is the thing. I was really on the side of, oh yeah, fuck it. If a girl says she's a boy or a boy says they're a girl, then yeah, you know, you start their transition because it makes it easier to transition before puberty if you go on hormones. Then, hold on. Then I seen this group. I seen this documentary that this group did. It's a group of transgender people, and they are against it, right? And then I started to. Once I watched that, I was like,
Wait, there was a group of transgender people who were against transition.
transitioning children.
Oh.
So I'll give you an example. One of the guy's story was, and he's like in his 50s now. Because he does not identify as a woman anymore. He's in his 50s. He said what happened to him was
Wait, was he a guy? Was he born
he
a?
was born a man.
Okay.
He transitioned into being a woman, had the full surgery and the whole thing. He said at no point people really didn't question him about it. They guided him through that, and he said, you know, even going through the surgery, living as a woman, you know, he got to a point till he realized I was just a gay man.
And that's what I'm talking
But
about.
because as a gay man, I leaned into feminine shit, I was guided down this path of being a woman, and that's not really what should have happened.
When he was just more of like a femme gay guy.
Yeah, so there in this group there was a lot of stories like that, and then there's another group of younger people because it's gotten kind of more tunnel vision over time.
Yeah.
To where now, literally, you cannot question it at all. Even if you're a clinical professional, you can't question it.
But
I
that's
don't
also
agree
an
with
issue.
that.
That's an issue because I watched this documentary of this teen boy who was born, like, you know, genetically or whatever the fuck, a boy, right? And, you know, thought that he was transgender and wanted to be a whole entire girl. So he transitioned, but no surgery, but all the hormones, everything. And then during that realized that, oh no, shit, I don't actually want to be a girl. So then, like, he retransitioned from being a fucking girl back to being a man, like, because his parents were like, well, if that's what you want to do, we're going to go ahead and support you. Like, no, as parents, you should be like, well, you know, you can do whatever you want, you can dress as a girl, do this and that, but I'm not finna let you, like, fucking put these hormones into your body, and then later on in life you're gonna sit here and be like, oh well, I think I was just a gay or whatever it is, and then sit here. Like, I don't know how that's acceptable.
I
Like,
think
that
too,
doesn't make
because
sense.
there's no laws to saying at this age you can legally transition, right? With the parents' permission, you can start transitioning a person from as soon as they say, "I think I am."
But I think it's not a certainty though. Like, that's the problem.
Train a child in which they should go. I'm a firm believer of that. Due to the fact that it is our job as responsible, matured adults to let a child be free enough, but to lead them as well as guide them. If I had a son that came to me and wanted to wear my shoes, I say, no, son, they're mommy's shoes. We can go get you some shoes with some, I might glitter them up or something, but they be Spider-Man glitter. I have to train them in which way. But I feel that we should also be supportive as parents. That when your child is to an age, a certain age and maturity level, to be able to support them. I'm not going out here and doing this, but you can go get a job and buy you a poodle skirt if you want to. I'm not buying no poodle skirt, but if that's what you want to do, we do that with our kids as they are. My daughter, she wants to do all kinds of stuff. If I don't agree with her, that doesn't mean I'm non-supportive. I'll give her avenues to express herself on her own means. I'm not contributing to that type of thing. And I had friends who came out the house as boys and went around the corner and totally transferred, put on skirts. Guess what they are today? Women. Regardless of what their family thought, they became what they wanted to become on their own. They do not need a helping hand to be you. If you're going to be a mass murderer, guess what you're going to do? You're going to go out there and kill people. You do not need a helping hand in doing that shit.
An example.
I'm just saying, you're going to do whatever you want to do. If you're going to go out here and fuck every man in the world after I told you to sit your little hot ass down, guess what they do? They go out, they fuck every person in the world. I do not feel as responsible people. We're supposed to be responsible. I'm going to just give you the knife and go out there and say, you a murderer today? Oh, well, praise God. Go ahead and go out there and kill a couple people. Bring mommy back some bones.
Now,
pick me up some chicken on the way home.
I got sons, right? And my boys know, nigga, if you gay, you gay. You want to be whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you can be whatever the fuck you want to be, right? But I'm not making any permanent surgical alterations to your body.
Can they wear lipstick in the house?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Look,
put your word on it.
No, check this out.
Put your word on.
Put your word on it.
I was on the phone with my dad the other day, and he like, yo, when Boogie get up there, can you do something about his hair? And I say, what you mean? What's wrong with his hair? Oh, what, you ain't seen the boy hair? I'm like, oh, you mean because it's dyed? And he was like, yeah, can you do something about that? I said, I gave the okay for that. Like, his mom wasn't really sure about that. She called me. She like, yo, he wants to dye his hair for his birthday. What do you feel about that? I'm like, man, let that nigga dye his hair whatever the fuck he want to dye it. Mm-hmm. You're a kid. Now don't matter. Right? Now doesn't really matter. If you want to wear makeup, lipstick, dye your hair, it doesn't matter because I take care of you. You don't have to take care of yourself. You don't have to deal with the world.
Are you going to buy the lipstick?
Yeah, I mean, that's where the fuck his money come from. You do whatever the fuck you want to do with your money. So I told her, let him dye his hair. Huh?
I'm clipping him.
Clipping what?
Like if my daughter comes back. Well, see, I don't know. Is there different with girls? Because if my baby came home wanting to dress like a straight dude, I'd be highly supportive of that. I don't understand why I'm bi-coastal.
Bi-coastal.
By premium.
Biased.
Biased. That's it. It's bi-coastal.
Well, we had talked about that
I don't know
before,
why I'm
like
so bi-coastal about it.
especially in the black community, the way that we view black women and black men and masculine and feminine.
Is she
There are so many black women that accept
slumped?
a lot from other black women. They accept bisexuality from women. They'll accept all these things, but they won't accept it from black men. You know what I mean?
That's tragic. That's
It's
really
just like you said, your daughter want to wear like a pantsuit and dress like a dude. You support that. Your son want to dress like a girl. You got a problem with that. That is where all of that shit comes from.
I know, isn't that
You
terrible?
know what I'm saying?
But
Now-
I can admit that it's terrible, though. Don't think like that, world.
I will say
can admit
this.
that that's terrible as hell.
I am an asshole. Even though I will
Big
support,
one.
nigga, you want me to buy you fingernail polish, lips, you want me to take me to go get you a mani or pedi, whatever the fuck, don't think I ain't gonna clown you though.
How come we can't groom them? Like, if you want a manicure, how about I take you to go get some clear fingernail polish? Like, that's what she was saying. You remember one of y'all was saying,
Oh yeah,
you know, that he turned out to be not that.
like he was just a gay
So how come
feminine
we can't
man.
teach you just how to properly groom yourself? Why
I think
come I
it's a
can't get
balance.
you some lip gloss? Why I gotta go get you
Right.
some motherfucking cherry red passion fruit lipstick?
I think it's a balance because like my dad never restricted me from ever being me, right? So like with my boys, I raised them to be free. I raised them literally, nigga, do what the fuck makes you.
But I'm
you
saying
happy.
like they can't be free. Like if that little boy wants to wear a dress, yes, wear a dress. But the second you start asking for some like, ooh, I want to get like my titties done.
No, I'm not
like,
doing anything physical.
That's what I'm
permanent.
saying. Like I'm okay with it, but when parents are like, yeah, we can do this, like put them on hormones at 12, like that's not. I
mean, there are
I
kids
don't.
that go on hormones
Before
early.
that, and I don't think that's cool. That's not cool. Like if your kid really wants to do this, they gonna have to
I think
be up
this-
out of my
okay,
house.
I think this is where the touchy situation for that comes from, and I never hear nobody talk about it, right? The reason why they will transition so young is because puberty is a very defining physical moment in your body. And nobody is really talking about the fact that people who are against it know that if you start to transition before this, you permanently fuck a human being up. And the people who are for it know that if you transition a body before puberty, it is a greater successful transition. But nobody is talking about why that time is so crucial.
But that's
and
Because it
how to
doesn't
navigate
match the
that.
mentality. So the body is growing at a rate that the brain is not. The comprehension, like, you know, the what is that? Freud's sexual shit. That the body is growing, like you're budding, you're protruding, you're getting hard-ons and stuff, but your brain is still cycling
That's
and,
new.
and doing other things.
That's new.
Thanks.
So you could be shooting out shit from your dick, but you might not know why. Like, oh damn, is it because her nipples hard, or is it because of the size of her titties? Haven't figured that one out yet. But I know it was a titty thing, or is it because I want titties? I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know.
Right, I feel like it's our job as parents to guide that. You know what I'm saying? And no copyright infringement. But I was watching the Law and Order, SVU, and it was
My
two
favorite.
twins, and one was a boy and one was a girl. The girl gets raped. They come to find out that they was genetically, you know, she was actually born a boy. She was fucking traumatized. You remember that one? You remember
I
that?
think
She
so.
I
was
remember that.
She was so fucked up because her genitalia might have looked a little different. They wanted to try something different and went ahead and made her a girl or something.
'Cause it was
like that.
easier.
It was a botched circumcision when it was a baby, and that's what made them just give her a vagina.
Because it's easy to make a vagina, so they just made a vagina.
Because the circumcision, there was an infection and all that. The baby, they had to cut it off. They just transitioned it.
But
into-
do y'all-
But that's the thing. That has happened.
But that is like
And then they
some-
grow up their whole life. I actually watched a YouTube video on people who were born like androgynous and like hermaphrodites with like multiple parts and stuff. And they were saying that most of the time the doctors lie and tell the parents, oh, this is going to cause health problems, you need to pick one. And then typically they pick female because it's really easy to just make an opening instead of making a dick.
Like, yeah.
So a lot of times it just made them a female, and then they interviewed some of those people who that had happened to them, and they were like, yeah, all my life I grew up like, damn, I don't feel like a girl, like I feel like a guy. And then their parents end up telling them when they were like 13, 14, yeah, we had actually made you a girl because when you were born, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, statistically and scientifically speaking, they were saying that being a hermaphrodite or having multiple parts is fine. Like, you can still fix that when you grow up. But the doctors back then, it's just such a taboo. They're like, yeah, just pick one.
Because
and it caused a lot of problems for them.
They know now if you let a hermaphrodite get past puberty, the body's going to choose one. Because you're either going to have reproductive testicles or reproductive ovaries. The
And some-
body's going to
yeah.
pick, and then you can remove the one that's non-functional.
Or you can just keep it if you want. You know, some of them was like, I'm cool with just having whatever I have down
Yeah, I
there.
like porn like that. Yeah.
And I've never seen that. But I feel like that's fine. Like, why can't they? Like, I don't see, it's not like they, I just don't agree with that shit.
Psychologically, they be fucked. That was my whole,
Yeah.
point. It's
Yeah.
psychologically.
Picking it for them?
Yeah, like you up here supporting something like M said that is not a natural due cause. Let them go through their changes. Let them do what they
I think
gonna
my
do,
point, having
and you'll
s-
pick one.
I will say this:
Or
having
they'll
sons,
have like 18 different titles.
I don't care. Like, my sons are 11 and 13. I don't give a shit if you tell me you gay or whatever. Now, once you take a dick in your ass and you go, yes, this is for me, then nigga, you know. Before then, nigga, okay, whatever.
Right.
But
Story came and told me.
the rubber gonna meet the road at some point.
What she tell you?
Then she was a lesbian first, and then she went to bisexual. But my conversation with her was always the same. Learn how to clean your room first, then come back and we can talk about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Point blank. It is my job, being of a maturity level, being of an age, to direct you in your state of confusion, to make you less confused. Why we talk about
But
sex?
all parents really can't do that freely because
not?
most people have some type of religious or cultural bias.
In this day and age where people got 18 different titles, we still doing that?
Yes.
Damn.
Jesus.
That shit is
Religion
so
dominates the world. What?
That shit infests people so much to where, like,
I wonder how
one of
many
my
pans
sons.
Christians
Check
pansexual.
this out. This is how hypocritical it is. One of my son's mothers is a flagrant, outright bisexual, no question. Has an absolute fucking problem if our son is bisexual or gay.
Which didn't make any
What?
sense.
I'm like, I don't.
Because that's where that
understand.
conversation came from. Can a man be bisexual? And people be like, no, he's just gay. But why can't... So it's okay for a girl to be bisexual, but it's not okay for a man to be bisexual. That don't make no
I don't
fucking
know.
sense.
Do you know how many black women who are bisexual who not fuck with a bisexual black man at all?
Me,
I understand
I
that.
know
but,
a lot
but
like
but
that.
It's this, like, why are you being so, is the word bias? Like, why are you being so, like, it's okay for a woman to be completely and utterly bisexual, but a man, it's just, it's too
how
much.
we
It's,
view black
I
men,
understand
black
that, but it's just
masculinity.
like, that's so,
Just don't
I
bring
think
it
that's
over
so stupid. That is so dumb.
Fair.
For you to be a
There's-
mother and be bisexual, but if your son is bisexual, you're not okay with that. I just don't fucking know.
Now, let me not act like I don't have some fucked up shit in this. Because I have 3 rules in my house.
What's number one?
No felonies,
no families,
no hard drugs,
no hard drugs.
No baby.
and if you're gay, don't be a bottom.
But that's
Okay,
not
so
fucked up,
what
though.
the?
I don't think
Your shit.
I
Because
personally
I know it may not be right, but my house is a masculine identifying house.
But
How the
If you
fuck you
wanna
gonna?
be- Hold on, just
But he can blend lipstick.
I know it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but I'm okay with this wrong.
This is crazy.
If you're gay,
just don't be a bottom.
Just don't get the dick in your ass.
do the pitching.
You don't think, but you
Don't
don't
be
think a
catchy.
bottom can't be masculine?
A masculine man wearing lipstick.
I don't know.
I mean that's crazy.
Oh, no. So, yes.
All the bottom friends I got are not masculine.
Okay,
I
but
know
that's
somebody-
the
As
ones
a
you
bu-
have.
As a bisexual woman, I don't think I would want to like put a strap on and fuck another girl with that.
You
Yeah.
don't know yet.
You're the
So
bottom.
you don't know
You're the
yet.
femme,
So,
you're the
yes.
soft.
But then, this is what I have a gay brother.
Lipstick
Who has
lesbian.
he started off as a bottom, and I always had these conversations with him because he's 6'2", 240. He could pull any
Ooh,
woman.
okay,
Yeah, he could pull
okay,
any woman moving. You would not be able to tell his sexuality from who he is, and he always noted that since we were growing up. At first, it was a safety reason. You know, we grew up in the hood. It was a safety thing. But as he came into himself, he wanted the world to know that his sexuality did not define him, who he was. You know, then he started wearing little braces. So I said, well, what's up with that? He said, because now I'm in support. The world is changing. And so I watched the little flick one time, and I was like, I was disgusted by it. And I had to know, hey, I said, I learned the word top and bottom today. You know, and he's my best friend. And I said, are you a top or you a bottom? He said, I'm a bottom. We were about 17 then. 24. Came up again, because he liked down low brothers. So I was like, could you ever, do that? He was like, no, I really don't care to. 28. He became versatile. Now where he is the dominant most of the time. It's dependent on who he is dating. So out here you got these little fragrant snow bunnies running around. And he's the more dominant structure in that. He said he's enjoying it. He actually enjoying it, but he is versatile, depending on his partner. As being a bisexual female, I have always pictured myself as being a bottom until I realized I was always the aggressor. Girl, come on, give me some of that. Once I realized that, I didn't know that. No, I feel like those things should not be defined. That is also a growth thing. Because if you take any heterosexual lovemaking, a man is dominant one day, the next day a woman might strip him down to her socks. He don't know where the fuck that came from. She might lay him the fuck out. He like, whoa, where's she at? I need a little bit more of them. And they actually crave that takeover. So I do believe that it's on a verge of
So you
growth.
do believe though, like they can be top and bottom.
Yeah. He taught me the word versatile. You know what I'm saying? He taught that. And I never wanted to strap up on a woman. I never wanted a woman to necessarily strap up on me. Now, let's go for it. Let me try this thing. Girl, let me slap that ass a couple of times. I
Oh
don't
my
know.
God! The other day I had seen a strapless strap-on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, what? Wait,
Where
wait.
it's like a thing where it goes in your vagina,
And then the other piece.
and then the other piece stick out like a dick, so you're
and
also.
vibrate and y'all can hump each other.
I was like,
Oh,
okay,
shit.
that's
$90.
next. Yeah, I seen
want
it.
that. I wanna try that.
Somebody on my Snap bought one, and I was like, oh.
Sometimes they got a little piece in the middle where y'all can just vibrate together.
Vibrate.
So that's what I'm talking about. Sex is a growth thing. Just like with the little babies, let them grow.
Let them grow.
Yeah, that's support for the growth.
I like that.
Yeah, let 'em grow.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to finish up these terms.
We only
And we are back from break. So, what we're going to do for the sake of time, we're just going to roll through more polycentered definitions. Aliska's going to start off with body fluid monogamy.
So, body fluid monogamy The practice of limiting any activity which involves the exchange of bodily fluids, including such activities as unprotected sexual intercourse, to only one partner.
All right, and roll on to the next one. Unless anybody got something to say on that one.
No.
All right. Boston marriage.
Yep.
Archaic. A term used primarily in the 19th century for a household of two unmarried women who were financially and romantically independent. Today, it is generally presumed that many such arrangements were lesbian relationships.
What was it called that first?
A Boston marriage.
Yeah.
Women in Boston was gay first?
No. That was just a term because you just had a lot of women who lived together as best friends for like 40, 50 years. You know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't cool
And
to be out
suspicious.
like that. You know what I mean? Like,
Everyone's just like,
Very suspect.
Could not be lesbian though, but
the next one?
Candualism. Sexual arousal from watching one's spouse have sex with or engage in sexual activity with another person.
Now they call that shit cockhold.
Cuckolding. Yeah.
I'm not with that shit.
Why not?
Would you be in a situation where a cuckold was watching you? Have sex with their wife?
I don't really have a as long as they're not white. No, I mean, like, because even
What's your problem
if you
with
watch
that?
like cockhold porn, it is a white man and a white wife with the black man that they're calling a bull in the book and all these other slavery breeding terms. It is very like degrading and humiliating. I cannot be in that situation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like if it would turn to that.
That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Because it's also a power dynamic of using this person as like a tool, or I mean that's why they use the terms that they use, like bull, buck, stud, and all these other fucking breeding terms. It's you're using this person like livestock. I mean, I done been in like full swap situations and things like that, which is very different. You know what I mean? And I don't really have a problem being watched, but those cockhold situations are too racially fucked up for me. That shit just makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know?
But if it was an Islander dude.
I don't know.
Can it be a black dude?
Islander?
Or
No?
you're just not okay with that whole at all.
I don't know. It really depends on the situation. Why a single dude is watching me fuck a woman.
Why? Just because maybe that's what they want.
But
I'm
if-
more comfortable with the dude being in the bed fucking her while I'm fucking her than a dude just sitting off in the corner like watching me or jacking off.
I mean, but
But I thought people who are like the cuckold, like I thought they're in that little thingy, like they put their, or is that just in some cases?
What you mean?
Like I've seen it in porn where the guy like he like locks his dick in like those little
cage thing.
cages, so he.
That's more fetish cockhold. That's more on the extreme side.
Oh, I thought that was like
The
unusual.
The majority of the cockhold porn is the husband is filming, and taking the pictures, type shit. But
I see.
I can have happiness over my partner having a good sexual exchange with somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe like the discussion about it or something like that. I can take happiness in her fulfillment. You know what I mean? But I don't know. The physical part has got to be situational. Next one.
Cellular family. A family of 3 or more adults, and optionally children, who live together or near one another, share responsibility for joint finances and or domestic responsibilities, and consider themselves to be part of a single family.
Yeah, I know a couple of people. I know quite a few people in that type of situation.
Interesting.
Cheating. This is a good one.
Cheating. In a relationship, any activity that violates the rules or agreements of that relationship, whether tacit, tacit, tacit,
Tactic. No.
ta-
I think that's a typo in the article.
probably because I can't pronounce anything. Okay, backtrack. Whether blank or explicit, in traditional monogamous relationships, any sexual activity with anyone outside that relationship is generally viewed as cheating. In a polyamorous or swinging relationship, sexual activity with people outside the relationship may or may not be seen as cheating, depending on the context of that sexual activity and whether or not it violates the agreements of the people in that relationship. Even in such relationships, most commonly, sexual activity without the knowledge and explicit consent of the other members of the relationship is likely to be viewed as cheating.
Yep.
That's solid.
Let's see. So we know what closed marriage is. That's pretty much a monogamous, closed group marriage.
A polyfidelicious relationship in which all members consider themselves to be married. Okay. Oh, thank you.
Roll on.
Next one.
Yeah.
Closed group swinging. A form of swinging in which people have multiple sexual partners within a specific group, as, for example, two couples who will swap partners, but will not have sex with people outside the group. A closed group swinging relationship can look very similar to a polyfidelish relationship from the outside, the primary difference between them often being the focus of the relationship, sexual versus romantic, rather than the form of the relationship.
Yeah. Closed swing.
A practice in which a group of swingers will exchange partners and then have sex separately, usually in separate rooms. Swinging without group sex.
And cluster marriage.
Cluster marriage. A polyamorous relationship in which two or more married couples cohabitate and exchange partners. Interesting.
Yeah, there was a show on, I can't remember if it was Showtime or HBO, where they followed a cluster marriage. I think it was two married couples and two other partners that were all in the same relationship, all living together. Let's see, cross couple.
Of or relating to activities between a member of one couple and a member of another couple. For example, cross couple relationship, a relationship between one person who is part of a couple and a second person who is part of another couple.
Now, I want to say something about this because I was talking to somebody online on one of the dating apps that I'm on, and they've had poly relationships before. They're looking for a primary partner, and I asked her, do you have to be your primary partner's primary partner? And that kind of fucked her up a little bit because I think some people don't really realize I could be your primary partner, but you could be my secondary partner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to be my primary for me to be yours. You know what I mean? And that is a kind of a common situation. Like, you meet somebody that you really click with. You want your relationship with that person to be your primary relationship. That doesn't necessarily mean that has to be that other person's primary relationship, especially if they can meet and satisfy your needs, whether it's time, attention, sexually, or whatever you feel like your primary needs are Or triads are usually two primaries. Like a person has two primary partners. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes the complexity of how relationships can form fuck with people. You know what I mean? Because when you come into the community and you learn these terms and you start kind of getting a perception of how things look and how like you fit in and what works for you, sometimes just life and emotions can change things, and that fucks people up sometimes because it's not, certain things just don't have a definition. Certain things aren't the primary poly discussions in groups and stuff like that. You know, it's like some of the Facebook groups you go on, they are explicitly against any type of unicorn hunting whatsoever, right? Some of the groups, unicorn hunting is seen as a very negative thing.
That's so weird.
But at the same time, you have so many relationships where you have a straight person and a bisexual person. And triads often feel the need when you have a straight and a bisexual person. You know, it becomes a win-win for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you're bisexual, you get a man and a woman. The woman that you choose is bisexual, she gets a man and a woman. The guy in the situation is straight, he gets two women. Everybody's winning. You know what I mean? So, you know, you'll be in some groups to where there's a lot of triads and it's more triad friendly. And then you go into some and negative shit that you'll get for already being in like a fixed, stable relationship looking for a third is a lot. Like the negative outpouring is a lot.
Like, are they looking at it negatively even if it's just like just for sex?
A lot of people,
Because that's just like a fucking threesome.
yeah. Well, that's more because this is the thing, and I don't think it's talked about as much as it should be, where you have people who are not necessarily poly, but are coming into the lifestyle more on some swinger shit, but don't really know the swinger community,
Yeah.
or
But it's like, why hate on those people? Like,
well, people project a lot of their own personal bad situations. Say like you're a poly person, you meet a couple, they're really on some swinger shit. They're new to this shit. They really haven't done much of the emotional work on insecurities and jealousies and shit like that.
yeah.
The way that they can exert control and limits on you and things like that are really going to kind of rub you as a poly person wrong. It's going to feel oppressive. It's going to feel controlling. You're going to feel that you're not really getting your needs met because they're
Oh,
on
I
some
see.
sexual shit, and they may entertain some outside, activity like hanging out or dinner or something like that every once in a while to maintain the sexual relationship, which usually doesn't satisfy the third. It's not meeting the third's needs, right? So people have been through that and they kind of project that out there. You know, married couples who are trying to just spice up their marriage by bringing in somebody. You know, all of those different things
Yeah.
can let out a lot of negative shit into a relationship. So people who have been through that kind of look at it negatively and kind of project their own situations and experiences on it. You know what I mean? Whereas me personally, I've had quite a few triads in my life. You know, all the women that I've been with one straight woman. So every woman except for one that I've been with has always been bisexual, has wanted a relationship or a sexual relationship with a woman.
How was it with having a straight woman?
Um, I dated a straight woman when I really went through a period of time to where I was rejecting my poly orientation, I guess you would say. Like, I grew up that way. That's the way my father was, but I also went to private Catholic school. I also, and my dad's side of the family is Catholic. My mama's side is Baptist. So growing up with the majority of my family is just regular Christian monogamous people, and then becoming an adult, going into society, not feeling like I fit in. I mean, I'm 40. When I was hitting 20, there wasn't groups. There wasn't really open forums. It wasn't. I don't even think I heard the word poly or polyamory back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I went through a period of time to where I just was kind of against it. I felt like monogamy was the right thing and I could do it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it was a lot of self-hate around that type shit. So the relationship just taught me why I'm poly.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? It really
But
just
that's
taught me,
good.
like, that's being a fraud. That's not who you are. That's not you. That's not how you love. Trying to love how monogamous people love, like with these different boundaries and these different connections to love. If you love me, only desire to have sex with me. You only will connect with me. And it's all just me, 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 me. If you love me, everything will be just me, 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 from you and about you. Like I'm your whole world. If I'm not your whole world, you're not really in love with me. If you meet somebody and you feel a connection with them and you happen to fall in love with them, even though you may not have sex with them or whatever, you don't love me no more and our love was a lie and all of these different
Yeah.
things. It was so hard to try and love like that. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like, it was very difficult and I just couldn't, but
Yeah, that shit is difficult. I see so many people who that I know personally that are in relationships where, they both want to see other people, but they also want to be together, but they also want to be monogamous. So neither of them want to admit to the fact that they want to be with other people. So, like, technically cheating.
yeah.
But it's like, but then I tell them, I'm like, if you would just change the terms, this wouldn't really be cheating. But then you guys would have to talk about it,
Yeah.
and they don't want to talk about it because both of them are jealous. So it's just like a whole like circle of why, and it keeps repeating, of why they don't want to do it. But it's just, it kind of sucks for them because it's like it would be so like you obviously want to do that. You like it. You want to be poly, but like.
I mean, the mindset is hard for a lot of people to comprehend, right? Like, even when I try to explain to people, the insecurities and jealousy never goes away.
Yeah.
How you view them, how you process them, changes. You know what I mean? Like, there are times when I look through like M's phone, or I'm going through like a dating app, and I'm looking at the conversations, which we do that together. To where like I'll see a guy that DM'd her, and I'll look at the picture and it'll hit like an insecurity.
Yeah.
And there's a feeling of jealousy. But as a poly person, I check myself and nigga, it's not all about you. If she likes this person and this person does something for her, if you love her, why would you deny her that? That's really what it is. Like, monogamy is based on, if you love me, you will deny yourself, right? You will deny yourself this, that, and a whole host of other things. As a poly person, it's, if I love you, why would I deny you? You know what I mean? And there is that thought of, my jealousy could disconnect her from somebody who could greatly change her life, or greatly change her perception on life or add to her life in such a way that probably was something I couldn't bring to the table or just isn't about me. You know what I mean? Um, and then two, being secure in what you bring. Like I'm very secure in what I bring into her life, what I have to offer. And because I'm very secure in that, I'm very aware there are things I don't bring to the table. It ain't my personality, it's not what I'm into, it's not what I like. Whether it's some hobby shit, some sports shit, whatever it is, I know the things that aren't me that I'm just not bringing. And that thought is, if I love her, why would I stop somebody who could bring those things in?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. And like, that's pretty, like, that's a pretty, like, selfless thing to say that I think a lot of people have a hard time saying. Because, like, even me, like, but I would think, like, okay, well, that's the right thing to do. But, like, it's not as easy to actually, like, self actualize that for
Yeah.
yourself. And that's the part that takes a long time.
I mean, part of it too is I truly, to my core, believe love does not make you sacrifice. When I
Yeah.
look at how we conceive love, how we think about love, how love is talked about and dealt with and expressed in our culture, in our media, in our communities, in different religions, sacrifice is the key to so much religious based love, right? And I don't really get that concept, right? Love to me is transcendent. Some physical desire to me does not diminish love. It does not make love invalid. You know what I mean? Like, and then too, like I did like through that whole period where I was like rejecting polyamory and my orientation and that. Coming out of that, I just had to I had to be okay with things that people thought was wrong. Cause you would hear shit like, well, if you really in love with a woman, you wouldn't want to sleep with other women. Why? I like sleeping with other women. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the fact that I can look at a woman and go, ooh, I want to sleep with her. Period. Then that leads you to have to accept your woman is going to see men that she's attracted to that she would go, ooh, I want him to beat it down. What the that has nothing to do with how she feels about you.
That's
that
true.
has nothing to do with the bond that you guys put together. That has nothing to do with the love that you share, the direction that you're going. Period. You know, when you really look at those things, you know what I mean? Like, when you look at like monogamous people have a relationship and somebody cheats, right? There's this common thought of at the point that you cheat, all of the love that we had the whole time of our relationship was a lie.
Right?
How the fuck do you erase all of that? But it's such a common trope in our culture. You hear it in TV shows and movies and shit like that. Well, it was all a lie. Our relationship was a lie. I don't even know how you logically get it. That's like, logically, can you explain to me why you bought a cake and you're not gonna eat it? Because I hate the term when people say, oh, you just want to have your cake and eat it too. That's why I bought a cake. I like cake. I like to eat cake. It tastes good. It feels good in my belly. Yes, I want to get a cake and I want to eat that cake. And if I get the urge, I want to smush the cake on my body. So what? You know, I mean, they're just things that I just had to get okay with, that I just
Yeah.
kept seeing around me. People being like, well, that's wrong and that's not right and that's a degenerate and, you know, perverted. And no, fuck it. I like kinky shit. I like group sex. I like to fuck one woman. I like to fuck multiple women. I like to fuck multiple women at one time. Sometimes I like to sit in a room and make love to myself. It's just what it is. You know what I mean?
He said make love to himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love me. I'll draw it out sometime. You know, I'll make it last a little longer. Loosen up the grip a little bit.
Take your time with him.
Rub across the head a little bit. No, but I mean, it's just like the concept of like what we were talking about off air. Like, there is nothing else in life you're expected to only love just one.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And the fact that me being in love with M has nothing to do with the love I feel for somebody else. It doesn't. And I feel like in polyamorous relationships, it allows you to love multiple people in a healthy fashion. Because when you're in a monogamous relationship and you fall in love with somebody else, or you just have feelings for somebody else, that style of relationship and the boundaries to that usually cause people to do unhealthy things, to lie, to hide. Then, you know, you start pulling away from one partner and you start not really fulfilling your duties as a partner to that partner, and you know, all of these different things that happen in the lying and the cheating and the hiding and the conflicted feelings and the guilt and the shame, to where for me and Polly, being able to openly have feelings for more than one person and be supported in that. You know, like, there are times like Emma asked me, oh, how's it going with Meg? Like, what's up with y'all? That makes me feel really happy that she's concerned about that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when I ask her, like, oh, how are your conversations going? It's out of a true, like, have you connected with somebody? What's that like? How you feeling about that? Are you excited? You know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah.
a true, genuine participation in that person's happiness and connection with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is a good question, because I don't think we've actually talked about this. How would you express how you feel like when you would hear me use the word love with like K?
I mean, I don't know. I really didn't put much thought to it because, you know, like you said, you knew her before you moved up here, and I don't know. That's just some shit that
I mean, were there ever moments to where like hearing me use that term about her, like, made you feel insecure or angry? Was there a point to where like you adjusted to that?
well, K in general doesn't make me feel insecure. I think it's just more of the fact of the fact that, like, I don't know, like, you know, using the word to like her was like, it didn't really bother me because, like, I don't know, and this is like something I always feel fucked up for saying it, like, she doesn't make me feel insecure in any way, shape, or form. Like, so like when you say you love her, nigga, that's your friend or whatever, that's at that time was your secondary partner, like, that's just what it was. Like, there was no, I don't know, drawn out extra feeling about you saying you loved her or you love her.
And I feel like, but I kind of know, like, when I would say it and I would look at you, I just noticed that there was more of an ambivalence for hearing it, right? Which made me proud. You know what I mean? Like, somebody who's new to it, that's usually one of the things that they first spin off on. Hearing their partner use the L word with somebody else usually triggers some of the first deep jealous moments.
Well, it doesn't really trigger nothing because, like I said, like, the way you love me is not the way you love her. Like, the way I love you is not the way I love my dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. Like, there was no reason to be like, oh, because the way you love me is not the way you love her. So I mean, I can't really personalize that. Feel some type of way.
Oh, this is another thing too, and I really got to say this because this is one of the things that are very different in poly relationships, and kind of I think the benefit of being poly versus like the relationship escalator of being monogamous. I can be in love with somebody, they be in love with me, and there's not an expectation we need to have a primary relationship. There's not this expectation that we now need to plan our lives together and walk through life together.
And that's another reason why, like, I never felt insecure about, like, Kay, because you don't make your life decisions based on her. Like, decisions that are made are based on us, not
Yeah.
anybody else. So I was like, nigga didn't got shit to do with me. So I mean,
Yeah, because like my feelings for her, like the love that I had, well, I'm not even gonna say had, that I have for her, there was never a thought of we need to have a life, like a primary life together. You know what I mean? I think, in poly, you can be comfortable with just, I'm in love with this person, and when we spend time together, we spend time together. It's not like we need to think about marriage and having kids and when we're gonna buy a house and when we're gonna live together, because nigga, we don't have to do none of that. You know what I mean? Like, I can be in love with you, you can be in love with me, you can marry a whole nother person and have kids with them.
I think what most people who are new to, being poly, or people that are like outside of the situation, it's something I had to realize that whatever the fuck he has going on with her, whatever, it has nothing to do with me. Like, that shit's none of my motherfucking business.
I
Like has nothing. Like, if he's having a bad day because of her, that ain't got shit to do with me. Like, I have to realize that. Oh, look, nigga, that's not my issue. Like, it has, and I feel so fucked up saying it, but it has not one thing to do with me.
I agree, and that's also something that I had to also kind of like people will tell you, but you kind of have to realize it on your own, you know. So when I realized it, I was like, wow.
I mean, yeah, because, like, I'm not gonna say, like, at first it wasn't like, ooh, I personalized everything, because I surely did.
Yeah.
But, like, now it's like,
But part of that, like, when we would have an argument or a fight,
ooh,
me and Kay,
I was
I
like,
think I try to be aware of when I'm angry or agitated because of something between me and her, and to verbalize that to you, that this argument happened and I'm agitated, so that you know that's where the attitude is coming from, and to make sure that I'm not projecting it on you. Because sometimes that could happen. Like, you could have a bad day with your partner and then be with your other partner, and that shit that you had over here, that argument, that fight, begins to bleed over here. For me, I think it's always been a useful practice to be like, yo, me and such, man, we just had an argument. This was the argument about, man, this is how I'm feeling, da 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 da. Because that also lets my partner know that I am in an attitude, and this attitude doesn't have anything to do with them.
but I mean, that also
And that allows
comes
you
with,
to kind of just give me space to just deal with my attitude that I've had from somebody else.
I mean, that also comes with, like, self-control. Like, nigga, check your attitude at the door. Like, yeah, you make, again, like, with that, like, for instance, like, I could know that y'all were together one night, and then you hit me like, "Are you coming through?" My answer was an automatic, "No, I'm not coming through." Because for me, like, I have, or I don't know, 50-50 50-50. Have an issue with, like, okay, one night you're with Kay, and then the next day you're like, oh, come through, whatever, I miss you, and I hit you with that. No, it's because I need there to be more time than just less than 24 hours. I don't know why, before we can, be in, I don't know, just because, like, I don't need whatever, like you said, like, you can't have sex with me and then have sex with Kay, or vice versa, in the same day, because you could project what you feel towards her onto me, and that's gonna make me cut your dick off or whatever, or vice versa, give out like what you feel for me to her, and then she's gonna be like, oh my god, like, I just feel like
I don't, that's another thing too. I don't really hear talked about much in the community, but I learned it from my dad. To be honest, my dad talked to me my teenage years about not projecting the sexual. I can't even remember the fucking words he used, but basically not projecting the sexual energy that you've had with somebody onto somebody else. You know what I mean?
It's an unfair thing.
Because what happens is, even if it's good, right? The way that sex is and love making is between me and you is not the same as it is between me and her. The mind state and emotional state that I'm in when I'm with you goes off when I'm with her, and I'm bringing that to her, and the same vice versa if I'm bringing what it is with her over here. You know what I mean? Like,
And, like, that's why I always, like, will, like, it'll probably change down the line, but I hit you with that, like, or if, like, I want to come over, but I knew, like, y'all were together last night, I'm not coming over. I don't know, that's just, like, I just don't do that. I don't know what that is. I just don't
I think
do
that's
that.
more of a personal thing with Kay.
Oh yeah,
Because,
I think
like,
yeah. I think that's just her specific, but you can't necessarily blame me for that.
No, I know, and I do take
No,
I
for real.
take all of the responsibility of when me and Kay started talking again, that I talked so much about the things that upset me about her, and a lot of negative things about her personality. Like, that was my first impression that I gave to you of her.
Yeah,
That
and
was
like
wrong, and that was unfair on every, between both of you. That was very unfair.
no, I totally get that, and it's also like there are certain things like that y'all had in your relationship that just like really annoyed the fuck out of me and bothered me. So it's like that also added to it, like
You mean
the circle
Physic-
shit. The circle shit. I fucking can't do that. Like that would like aggravate me to you about you, and then I just be like, nah, nigga, I'm gonna stay home because I don't think I can function properly and not spaz on this nigga. So let's be an adult and let's stay in our space and get ourselves like I just how I feel about that whole like mirror around circle shit. I just can't. But that we had that conversation. Just need to like not so that it was all like
I
you
thought you were
shitted
going
on.
to talk more about our unhealthy.
Oh well, that
aggressive-
too. But that has nothing to do with me. Like I said, like if that's what y'all do, that's what y'all do. Do not bring that shit over here because I will call the police. And I'm okay with.
She is snitching on everybody.
Period. I ain't got time for that.
I mean, this is the thing too. Like, I don't really have no qualms in
Aw, sorry.
But that made me
Talking
feel some
about,
type
like,
of way though.
the aggression that was between us.
But that made me feel some type of way in the beginning, like, oh, am I too that sensitive and whatever, for him to be like, I can't do this around her. Like, it just was really like in the beginning, I was like,
I have no idea what you just said.
Like the whole like the physical aspect between y'all, like that shit doesn't make sense to me. But that's just me. But like in the beginning, it made me feel some type. Same. It made me feel some.
Suck the head right off that motherfucker.
Like it made me feel some type of way because it was like you know. But then it goes back to like to that like oh shit ain't got it has nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? Like because it just made me. I mean, at first it made me feel like maybe I was lacking something, but I had to realize that like I am not a physical person like that. We don't have that type of relationship to where like we don't argue at all. So it's like to bring like that physical aspect into it, but then it made me feel some type of way because like maybe you could have been like upset at something I did, and then like you're physically taking that. You're like, you know,
I mean,
on
like,
her about me, and that made me feel like.
I mean, this is the thing too. Like having a grip on yourself, understanding. At the end of the day, I'm still a hood nigga. I'm still from the gutter. There is just a place in my heart for ratchet ass hood rats. You know what I'm saying? There is just a
Nothing to
dynamic.
do with me.
No, I get it. But there's just a dynamic.
What
that
an explanation.
was between me and her
Pretty solid.
that really fulfilled that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a dialogue between me and her and the style of talking between me and her that isn't in our.
Because nigga, I'm not a fucking hood rat.
You know what I'm
the fuck?
saying? Like,
I am pristine,
like
crisp.
I would tell you, like, yo, hey,
Wholesome.
come on now, let's talk about that. Da-da-da-da-da. And then with her, it's just like, hey, bitch, shut the fuck up. Stop running your fucking mouth.
Yeah,
Shut
if
the
you,
fuck up.
If you ever talk to me like that, nigga, your whole house.
And that's
fucked.
she's into that.
No,
No,
that's just how
it's-
their dynamic is. Like, he
You know
can't
what
just
I'm
sit there and be like, bitch, shut the fuck up to me, because I'm going to, like, fucking spaz. I would spaz.
That's interesting.
Because, I mean, even just the way she talked, her little ditty bop, nigga, bitch, shut the fuck up. Stop running your fucking.
Like, do you wish you could say those things to me sometimes?
No.
Like,
But see, that's what I mean by a very different dynamic in relationships, right? The relationship that we have in our dynamic, our flow, our chemistry speaks to a very large part of who I am. But she also talks to a part of who I am.
the hood ratchet fucking ghetto
You know what I mean?
ass.
Like, it's just what it is. Don't choke.
No, I'm fine.
I mean, and that's like totally, like, I totally get that. Like,
I have never wanted to smack you once. That thought has never crossed my mind.
I mean, I can't say the same, but okay.
And
You're like, I.
my relationship with her, you know, with that nigga, fuck you, woo woo, man, I'll smack the shit out of her ass in a heartbeat.
Yeah, see, like, you too big to be putting your hands on me, nigga. I don't care. And she's way smaller than me. Like, not way
Nigga,
smaller,
she
but
like a pit bull terrier, though. You
but
know what I
like,
mean?
and you just, I can't. Like, nigga, I will call the police. Don't play with me.
And then too, like when we're together, our relationship doesn't even touch any of the things in me
To want to
that
be
are
played.
just that nigga. You know what I'm saying?
But that, you know, in the beginning did make me feel some type of way, like, oh, I bring out his extra white side.
No,
Because I'm not a real black girl.
No. It
With my
took
high
her a
yellow
minute.
ass.
But see, this too, like, I don't even think we talked about this, but it took a minute for her to break through in me to that, because we had so many arguments where she was like, nigga, you can't have no relationship without arguing. That's fucking stupid. Like, sometimes I just need that shit. And then I'll be on my, you know that's unhealthy. Like, you know that's not what love is.
Why don't you
Nigga,
tell that
fuck
to
what you
your-
talking about. Nigga, fuck what you talking about, nigga.
Like, tell that to yourself, though, nigga.
And it's just like,
Because that's
That should just be pissing you off.
no, it just like,
'Cause
she
he feels
just kind of,
it's-
She saw the hood nigga in me, and she knew how to cut through to that and pull that out.
And that's what she wants.
You know, yeah.
Shit, some bitches like to be talked to,
Like,
degraded.
you know, there are women like, I can't have no nigga who a pussy. Like, nigga, you need to show me you a man. You need to choke a bitch. Nigga, how am I supposed... Her words, how the fuck am I supposed to respect you if you can't even check me? If I could just run the fuck all over you, how the fuck am I supposed to respect you?
This is where my inner, caucasity comes out.
That is a valid point, but that's quite...
Then that's where I want to play, my inner caucasity card. I just can't stand these hood rats sometimes. They need to go somewhere else where I feel
Safe.
And I don't like to play the inner caucasity card because, it's just I don't play it any other time besides
I think if I was like a regular nigga,
I wouldn't even be together.
one person, like a monogamous relationship could work, but I'm so
Extra.
compartmentalized and fractured in who I am and what my personality is and how I grew up and all that different shit. It is very hard for me to find 100% everything, 100% of every type of connection in one person. You know what I'm saying? That's very hard because...
But I mean, that's understandable, I guess. I don't know,
your personality and her personality cannot exist in the same body.
Absolutely.
To be in one person.
I'm way too bougie for that. And that's where, that also with, how you spoke of her in the beginning and, the things you said. I already know I could step in a room with said person and just instantly stank face and attitude through my whole body. I don't even care if it's, radiating off. I have a genuine, true issue with, pure... I'm not saying she's pure ratchet, but pure ratchet ghetto behavior.
I think one thing you didn't see is when I was saying all of those negative things about her, there was very much a desire in my face. There was very much God damn it, she just always running her fucking mouth.
Nah, because I was too caught up in my own head of but that's what niggas like, so, ain't got shit to do
That's
with me.
what niggas like.
That's what I'm saying, that's what niggas like, and if nigga wants to have a feeling of, I don't know right now if she's gonna suck my dick or cut my head open, that's not my issue. I am sticking to this, it ain't got shit to do with me. If it ain't about me and you, I don't give a fuck, but not in that way of I don't give a fuck, but I just don't give a finna.
Look, I told D a phrase, I've used the phrase with D a couple of times. I don't really think he gets what I'm saying. When I tell him, nigga, you stuck your dick in crazy, I have an issue of I cannot fuck with a woman who ain't crazy. Now, there are three distinctive crazies. There is the K crazy, like that hood rat. Man, you know I'm fucking crazy. You don't really have mental health problems. You are just very untrained, unmannered.
And
you know what I mean?
That's what niggas like.
Very
I
hood.
don't understand.
Then you have the crazy that is, yes, you have a diagnosis. There is some mental health issues going on. And then you have the crazy that I don't know if she's going to fuck the shit out of me or stab me to death. All three of those bring their own brand of excitement and thrill.
And M is the last crazy.
I am none of those because I am not crazy. I am the most sane.
Which
individual.
one?
I'm
She
none of
obviously
those.
doesn't have a. I mean,
I
does
don't
she have a
diagnosis?
diagnosis?
So,
She does.
what's my diagnosis?
Nigga, you're bipolar too.
I'm not bi-fucking-polar. I don't have a bipolar diagnosis.
Bipolar
Mr.
2?
Counselor over here is just throwing out disorders.
Can't you diagnose anyone with something at least?
I diagnose
I mean,
you
you
with
can't
probably
Maybe
diagnose me with something if you want.
But this is the thing, I have a clinical background. If she was on my fucking caseload, she would be on medication.
I don't take
She
medication.
would be, yeah, No shit.
So what are
If
her
she was
symptoms?
if
What
she
the
was
hell?
on my caseload, she would be definitely at a minimum on mood stabilizers.
I mean, I
But
can't say that my mood.
why?
Nigga, I can turn around 2 seconds later and be in full blown tears. Like, yeah, it's kind of bipolar. Is
There-
bipolar genetic?
Yes.
Oh
It's
shit, then I
purely-
probably am bipolar.
See, that's the difference.
Is
Like,
your dad
My
bipolar?
dad's bipolar.
it
like,
goes
he
through
has
the
bipolar
mother's
disorder.
side. Bipolar is passed through the maternal gene.
Well, my mama ain't bipolar. She's just a crackhead.
Drugs are often a sign of bipolarism to self-medicate.
Oh, well, bipolar, I guess.
Damn, you got that double whammy.
My mother was
Right.
bipolar. That's where I got it from.
Shit.
You know what I mean?
Oh, and you're a psychopath. Damn.
Yeah, I don't know how. When I try to tell people you're a psychopath, they ask me if I'm mentally okay, and I'm like,
I don't
don't
think y'all
know.
should be just saying that out loud
no,
to
I-
everybody.
What made you say don't say it out loud is why I do say it out loud, and I do tell people because TV and media has attached psychopath with serial killers so deeply. People can't hear the word psychopath without thinking about a serial killer.
cuckoo for Cocoa
You know what I'm
Puffs
saying?
killer.
I wasn't thinking of serial killers, but I was just thinking of like starting a cult or something.
That's a sociopath.
Oh.
Nigga, I'm bipolar, but I'm not finna do none
A
of that extra
psychopath.
shit.
Look, a
I
psychopath
thought you was about to
is-
start a whole call with a bunch of bitches. Just
Just get a bunch
we
of
come in
bitches.
here one day, y'all have like hoods on,
I've
and
done that.
you've started a cult.
I mean, being a pimp, that's what that is. You have a cult.
But it doesn't have the sinister aspect to it that I'm looking for.
Yeah, no.
It
so
doesn't?
You're not getting it
Like,
done.
you suck dick all night and give me all that money and you don't get nothing. That's not sinister? That's evil as fuck.
No, I'm talking about like that. And they're like in a
Yeah, I
dark
know what
room
you're
with the
talking
candle.
You talking
In
about
a
the
fucking pentagram, just.
Yeah, swaying back and forth and shit.
But the fact is, like,
Oh.
being a psychopath is more common than what people think. And really what being a psychopath is, there are certain emotions I'm incapable of feeling. For me personally, I've learned to feel certain feelings kind of off of other feelings. You know what I mean? Like, I've learned to, I don't know, feel those feelings from a secondary feeling. You know what I mean? Or sometimes I gotta say, is this normal? Or sometimes I gotta ask the question like, should I be feeling fucked up right now? People be thinking I'm playing. I'm genuinely asking like, should I be feeling fucked up? Like, it looks like everybody else is feeling fucked up about whatever this is. Oh, okay.
Have you ever
You got
watched?
smacked by a bus. I should be feeling bad.
That's just an
You know
asshole.
what I mean? Like,
you just an asshole.
no, it's not. Like, there's a certain level of empathy and sympathy I'm just incapable of feeling.
But I'm trying to figure out how one cannot. I mean, actually, listen. My teacher got smacked off by a car freshman year, and I was just like,
But did you fuck with her?
"Fuck no, I hate that bitch."
Oh well,
That's the difference.
that was just like a nice.
Like-
This was like stranger
like,
got.
down 82nd, right at the high school. Just wow, I was like,
Oh.
Or, like, I have to be aware, like,
Oh.
people that I am close to, like, when they lose somebody, I automatically have to tell myself, you have to show some feeling. You have to show, like, you can't, don't say that stupid shit that just hit. Because a lot of times when people be like, oh man, I lost my mom, I lost my dad, or I'd be like, I don't feel anything. It's
what
like,
is the
oh, yeah.
initial thing you want to say?
Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh wait, I have a question about your psychopathism.
Yeah.
So what happens if one of your parents pass away? You don't feel grief?
So I have lost a child and a parent,
Mm-hmm.
and I can feel grief from my own loss. That sympathetic feeling grief for somebody else is hard to, and even when it comes to my personal life, like it has to be an extreme bond. You know what I mean? Like it's very
Interesting.
hard for me to lose. It's very hard for me to have that grief for somebody like I only know for 5 years.
So when you're on Facebook and you scroll past those military homecoming videos, you don't cry?
No.
Oh, I be in my room fucking balling.
I be
like,
cry. I'm like, oh my god, they're so happy to see him.
oh my god, he came back in one piece. Oh shit.
Oh my god.
But that's why I became a Buddhist. I needed a moral compass. I needed something to kind of guide my internal morals and emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like I needed something that was going to keep me morally right. Because without that, like Christianity didn't work for me because I could just say, Jesus wept, please forgive me, and it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I needed something
Your sin
spiritually.
has been forgiven.
Huh?
Oh, I was trying to remember.
Spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch.
Spectacle.
Spectacles,
Testicles,
testicles,
wallet,
no, wrong side.
wallet, and watch.
Catholic school,
Oh, gee.
you know what I mean? But I don't know, it just even like being poly in the way that I learned to love is very I guess you would have to say over the top. Like either I'm loving everybody or I'm just loving no one.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh damn.
Being in a monogamous relationship with a straight woman, I went through a lot of that. Like I was very unable to.
Question with that.
Yeah.
This is like one of like the things that makes me kind of sort of irritated about you. Why would you put yourself in that predicament?
Well, you were in the bathroom when I was talking about that, but I went through a period of time of rejecting my poly orientation.
Okay, I understand that, but I'm talking about even if, like, for instance, no, I can't use me for an example because we all know I'm a hoe. Just in general, like, you know, like after this relationship, like whatever, I don't think I could even entertain the idea of a monogamous relationship just because, A, I want to be with this person really bad, but they're monogamous, and I just, nigga, I can't do that bullshit. Like, I couldn't really put myself there, even though, like, I'm trying to deny the fact that that's just not what I am. I don't know how you could do that, like, suppress something that is a part of you. And that's something that I learned in this relationship, especially when we had that first initial conversation of, like, how you felt like you were suppressing who you were because, nigga, I was monogamous or whatever. Nigga, I can't do that.
Well, I mean, and then too, I was young. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was also a person I knew since I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we grew up around each other, or, you know. So when I went into that relationship, also, I later learned that even as a poly person, I go through monogamous states, right? So like when I got married, I was the most monogamish I had ever been. Like I had no need or want for another partner. And it was like a couple years, it was like 3 years before I even had another sexual partner. And even through the course of our marriage, I never really had a need for another partner. I did have other sexual partners.
But where does that come from? Like, that's like the conflict, I guess, for me saying like.
It had more to do with just where I was in life and what was going on with me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Rather
but, like,
than her.
Future speaking, like now, in your head, whatever. Like, you think in our relationship, you know, this is the question: would you be monogamous for a period of time? Because I personally don't.
Absolutely. I know I do go through those period of times to where, but I've never required my partner to be monogamous.
I know that, but like it's kind of like.
No, I'm just saying that on air because a lot of monogamous people don't understand it when I say it that, oh, I was in a monogamous period of my life, but I didn't require my partner to be monogamous. That kind of fucks with their head because of the word monogamy. And I'm like, it's me. Like, that was just my choice.
But how does that look for you? Just like, specifically to our relationship, like, I don't know. For me, like, for the most part,
Like, are you asking, like, do I know when those periods
no,
come?
I'm not asking when you know. Like, I'm talking about, like, how does it look specifically? Like, for me, for instance, I don't necessarily need another sexual partner right now. So for the most part, I'm monogamous to you. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? And like, I still text people, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming it looks different for everybody. Like, how does it specifically look for you, or has it looked, or you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
like, when I go through a monogamous period, I'm not even talking to anybody else. I'm
Uh-huh.
not on any dating apps. I'm not carrying on any type of conversation at all.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, so that's what I'm saying. It looks different for everybody. Like, I'm
Yeah.
monogamous to you. Like, I don't fuck with other people.
Yeah, yeah, just
But I still text people, or try to text.
yeah, yeah. Like,
Keyword,
yeah, for me, like,
try.
when I go through those periods of time to where I'm like, yeah, I don't want anything else. I don't carry on conversations because that can develop into something else. You know what I mean? Like, if I have a feeling for something else, that's when I'll start talking to people. You know what I mean? Because I don't like walking myself into a trap or walking myself into something I know could be something else. Like, if I'm like, yeah, I'm cool, I don't really feel like having another sexual partner or having another relationship, I'm not talking to anybody romantically for that to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not doing that.
Mhm.
You know? And those periods of times for me come solely from where I'm at, what I'm feeling, what I'm going through, what's happening in life. Like, I've had women ask me, like, do I ever think there's a woman that's gonna make me feel like I don't never want another woman? And I get where they're coming from, but they don't get where I'm coming from when I tell them it's not a woman that I've been with, that the woman has made me feel like I want another woman. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
my
also.
want and need for another partner has nothing to do with the woman that I'm with. Like, it's nothing like lacking or missing in her that's making me look for somebody else.
Well, that's also because, like, it's, for the most part, how being poly is perceived is like, oh, your one of your part or your main partner, primary partner, lacks something, so therefore you need to go find it in somebody else, and that's all how the media perceives it. That's how it's always been perceived for as long as I've been following it. So.
You know what does fuck that up? Is because a lot of people have a type, right? I've had 3 relationships, like a primary, a secondary, and a third, with the same woman.
What?
Like,
Oh yeah, I
all
don't do
3 of
that.
these women were
Oh.
like the same woman. Like, they weren't really different. They didn't even really look different. They weren't even really built different.
You gotta stop doing that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I like what I like. You know what I mean? Now, even though they were very similar women, the chemistry still be different. The flow still be different. You know what I mean? But it's not drastic differences. So the concept of, oh, I went and got this woman because there's some shit lacking in this one is like, no. Like, I have this woman. I love her. I'm connected with her, and this woman is pretty much damn near like this one.
But
It's
I
not
mean,
that
it's
they're
just the
lacking
whole.
anything.
I think it's more of like a negative. Is this the right word? Connotation
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
towards men than it is women. Like, a woman could, have like 3 or 4 girlfriends, and like that not be an issue. Like, of, oh, this person's lacking something. But the second a man does it, it's literally like, oh, he's a hoe, or like his primary partner has no titties and he likes titties. That's not a good one, anyways. But you know what I'm saying? And this one has bigger titties or whatever.
But the complex thing is, I like certain little titties and I like certain big titties. How do you get little titties and big titties on one woman?
Okay, can we just pretend like
just saying,
pretend like you didn't say that? You know what I'm saying? And then like someone's like, oh, they see all you and like let's say you have 3 partners, they point out, oh, this is why he has this partner because she's lacking this, and this is why he has this partner because both of these bitches are lacking what she has. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's all like, oh, yeah.
And okay, so even on that point, I still don't think that should be looked at as negatively, right?
But,
Because say it is something lacking, right? Say I have a certain hobby or thing in life that I like that
okay,
my
but that's,
primary
I get
partner
what you
don't
mean
like,
by that.
but this person does, right? Say like me and you, we talk about philosophy, right? We talk about life and the ins and outs and morality, and we talk a lot about philosophy shit. But I'm really, really fucking into politics, and you could give 2 shits about politics. So when I hang out with her, she's super into fucking politics too. So we spend hours fucking talking about politics.
No, I mean, but that's like.
But that's what I'm saying. Okay, lacking.
I
right?
mean, physically lacking is.
Oh, that's a woman's thought. That's
what I'm like. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not about like what this person lacks. You know, internally, it's like what they physically lack. You know.
Yeah, that's a woman's thing. You know. Oh.
Yes.
It is super, super late.
And we have to work tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
As do I.
We gonna wrap this up. I know we didn't really get into all of the definitions. So
Got it to letter C, you know, pretty solid.
On the next show, I say, you know what, fuck it. The next couple of shows, because each one of these definitions seems to bring up a topic and a discussion. So the next couple of shows, we'll go off this list and talk about these terms until we fucking wrap the list up.
Hey.
I want to thank everybody for your time and attention and listening to the show. Until next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Peace.
Thank you for listening. And if you like this show and you want to help us grow, please like, subscribe, and share this podcast or just an episode that you like the most. And also leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, Stitcher, Podbean, or wherever you catch us. If you would like to make a donation to the show, please go to our page at hklogic.podbean.com and become a patron of the show. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at hardknocklogic@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at 510-255-4546. Again, that's 510-255-4546. And you can always catch all of our content on this network at hklogic.podbean.com. Hope you come back. Hope you give us another listen. Peace.